Do you think your budget changes at 65? Does it go up or down? Most people think, yes, it does change. Does it go up or down? Anybody want to, the statistics say it stays about the same. Isn't that interesting? But it actually goes down a little bit. Now, why does it go down even though it stays the same? Thank you. So that's one. You're not putting money into your retirement account. What else? Social Security. You're not paying into Social Security. Okay? But what are you paying for that you weren't paying for before? Your medical care costs go up in retirement dramatically, and they continue to go up, and the older you are, the higher they get. But you say, oh, I got Medicare, and if I buy a Medicare supplement, I'm fully covered. Sorry, Charlie. It doesn't work that way. You'll still have out-of-pocket costs. And the problem is you're likely to be using health care a lot more. So you have to budget for retirement different than you're budgeting now. So whatever your budget is now, when you retire, you need a new budget. And that's one of the things I spend a lot of time teaching my clients is how to budget. How many of you have long-term care insurance? Yeah, okay. How many of you do not have long-term care insurance? That's the vast majority of you. So how many of you in this room think you'll ever need long-term care provision? Somebody may have to take care of you. I can tell you right now that about 80% of you will be cared for in your retirement years. 80% of you. Okay? Who's paying for that? If you don't have any, yeah, thank you, you are. Okay? Or your family is. So it's really important that you understand what expenses are going to come in retirement that you don't have now. And you're not going to be buying disability insurance. You realize now that part of your benefit package is disability. So basically it's just a form of disability insurance for elderly care. So you really haven't changed it, just now you have to pay for it. Now you can pay for it out of pocket or you can pay for it with insurance, and by the way, there's about a dozen ways to take care of your long-term care costs. A lot of people say, well, I'll just plan on going on Medicaid. How many of you have been to a Medicaid facility? Just be careful what you ask for. You just might get it. The most important thing is make sure you make the choice. Yeah, does that make sense? If you make the choice and you know it's coming, you can plan for it. And it's doable. That's really important, especially when you're younger. All this stuff is a lot more doable. I'd rather talk to you when you're 40 or 50 or 60 than I would when you're 70 and it's too late. And believe me, I get it. Most of the calls I get are from people after the fact. So just be kind of sensitive to that. How many of you have a will for yourself and your spouse? How many of you have medical directives and powers of attorney? If you don't have those documents, you're already in trouble. Okay? They're not expensive. If they are, you've got the wrong attorney. Those are really important documents. They really they impact how you live, and particularly after retirement, because those documents probably will come into play. So you want to spend time talking about those. Those are a big part of your retirement planning. Make sure those documents are done. Do it while you can, and while you've got, and you'll change those over time because laws change, but that's important. How many of you know what you're going to do with your retirement money when you retire? I got one hand. That makes me nervous. I mean, you spend your whole life accumulating this wad of money or benefit, and then how much time have you spent deciding what you're going to do with it when you get there? Can you do the same thing with your money when you're retired that you did before you retired? Most people do, by the way, and that creates a problem. What's the problem? What happens when you retire to your need? All of a sudden, you're drawing money. Okay, you're drawing money, and you're no longer just accumulating money. So how much money do I draw? I'll give you some interesting stats on that, just so you can get a feel for it. How much money can I draw on my investments and guarantee I'll never run out of money? Anybody want to guess what that percentage is? 5%? Anybody else? 8%? Anybody else? 2%? 15%? Oh, I wish. The The answer is under 4, probably 3 to 3.5%. You say, why? You need 3 to 3.5% for what? Inflation. So if you draw 3 and you have an inflation of 3, that's 6. Okay? But the statistics say you have about an 84% chance of never running out of money at 3.5%. That's historical. Here's the other one. Everybody looks at retirement and they say, well, if I earn 7% on my money from 65 until I die, and you have to pick a date, I wish if I could, every client could walk in my office and say, I'm going to die at 84, I could really make this easy. But that's not what happens. What percentage of couples age 65 will make it to age 80? One of them will make it to age 80. 70% of all couples age 65 one of them will make it to 80. 43 to 44% will make it to age 90. One of them will make it to age 90. 4% will make it over 100. I'm not worried about that one. But there's a big boom in 80-year-olds, and it's getting bigger. And what do you think is going to happen over the next 25 to 30 years? What's happening to life expectancy? It's growing. It's getting better. That means the number of people going into their 80s and into their late 80s and into their 90s is growing significantly. And what that does is that adds the risk of running out of money becomes greater. And so the need to know you won't run out. Somebody said, well, I just want to die and have nothing left in my pocket so I can leave nothing to my kids and I can live. So I'll take that 15% that you want. And the problem is you're 74 and you ran out. And why did you run out? Because the market decided in the first 5 years you were retired to crash or go down. There's an amazing difference between what the market performance of your investments do. The first 5 years you retire are the most critical years of your return. If you can tell me what your rate of return is going to be from the day you retire for that first 5 years, I can tell you how much to draw on. But the problem is you can't. So how do you plan? You have to plan carefully. Now, if we get a positive market that first 5 years, what can I do? I can give you a raise. A raise is okay in retirement, okay. But if it's negative, what might we have to do? Might have to adjust. So you have to also think about where you're investing in those first 5 years, and hedging becomes even more critical in your retirement years. So you have to spend more to hedge, by the way. Hedging reduces your rate of return. Whatever you buy to offset risk doesn't come free.